Reverend Jesse Jackson on the line with us. Sir, first of all, welcome back to our program.
So how are you?
Very, very good, and very well, and glad to have you with us. RainbowPush.org, by the way, I should mention the website. Civil rights activist, Baptist minister, candidate for the Democratic presidential nomination in '84 and '88. You have been, sir. You and I are about the same age. You have seen a lot of protest movements. You have led many of them. You've been part of them. What do you see happening as a guy who really understands how these things work? What do you see happening in Madison and other state capitals around the country right now?
Well, there's a massive uprising because people feel that they are being violated by a certain narrow ideology. We were marching this week in Selma, Alabama in 1965 for the right to vote. The governor locked doors and denied the right to vote using states' rights. This governor, 46 years later, is locking doors, denying workers the right to vote, a place at the table. That's the same consistent states' right ideology, kind of anti-labor, anti-civil rights in its orientation. And people feel a sense of threat and pain. Workers are losing their jobs, losing their homes to foreclosure, can't pay student loans, and they have no place to go. So the backs against the wall people are fighting back. Fortunately, the nonviolent and disciplined way.
Reverend Jackson, there's a debate within the progressive community, I suppose, about what to do next. And there are some folks who are suggesting that if this law that the Republicans passed through in the state of Wisconsin last night is passed by the Assembly today and the governor signs it tonight, becomes law. This law says that if you strike after 3 days, you get fired, and that basically the workers in Wisconsin should go on strike. Then there's a countervailing argument that that's exactly what Walker wants, and then because that's going to, especially if the teachers strike, that will inconvenience a lot of parents, and he can have his Ronald Reagan moment like busting Patco and say, okay, I'm going to fire them all. And, what are your thoughts on where the movement goes next?
Well, number one, there is a case in court now. The governor overreached yesterday with his flip of the switch, ram through vote.
Right.
So that would be a factor. The other is that it's a big election here. April the 5th, the Supreme Court justice will be elected and will determine the balance of the courts. April the 5th, there will be many municipal elections across the state. So many who did not vote and should have in November will have a second chance to vote in great numbers. He cuts, for example, in his budget $900 million for students, K through 12, and wants to raise tuition at the University of Wisconsin. Now, in this state, you have on-site same-day registration. Every college student, and all those in high school who are 18 or will be 18 have the right to register and vote on the same day, which they're trying to stop, by the way.
Right.
But students we can fight right now for student loan debt forgiveness. We can fight right now for students using that vote to elect a Supreme Court justice that would send a clear-cut political decision by the people that they resent what's going on. But I find astonishing the number of police and firemen who voted for Walker during the election are now marching against him and feel that they were deceived.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really quite extraordinary what's going on.
Well, it's a playbook from Indiana to Florida to Ohio to Wisconsin to California. One sees this a kind of revival of states' rights versus union rights. Demanding ID for voting, which is an impediment. The right to work laws, tax cuts for wealthy, and job cuts for workers. What I find amazing when you just fight on the state level, you miss the fact why are states in trouble. The tax cut the wealthiest Americans in December is about $150 billion. That's about the same amount as all the state budget deficits combined. That was a horrible decision made back in December, for example. The major oil companies, 5 of them, received $1 trillion in profit since 9/11 and still getting a subsidy. We're spending $2 billion a year in Afghanistan. Can we afford $2 billion a year in Afghanistan while states are sinking and schools are closing and Medicare is being cut? I think not.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm absolutely with you. The Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader, Democratic presidential nominee in 84 and 88. Rainbowpush.org is the website. Reverend Jackson, thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for being with us.